Hello guys, welcome back to Codeaamy. My name is Shri and I'm back with a new episode. In today's episode, we are going to create a new application called as Pokedex Application. I know I've already created this, but this is an updated version of the Pokedex Application. We are going to fetch the Pokemon data with API HTTP request that we make. And here's the demo of this application that I have in front of you. So firstly, you can see we have the list of all the Pokemons that we get from our API request, and the Pokemons are aligned in a grid view that we have in front of you. And I'm using a sliver app bar over here. So if I'll scroll the application on top, you can see how the Pokedex is hiding, and we just have the search bar on top. Then the Pokeball image is also going on top over here. After that, we have the grid of Pokemons we get from the API, and if I click on any one of the Pokemon, it will take us to the details screen where we show all the details of the selected Pokemon. We have the name over here, the ID, the type, the image of the Pokemon, and there is a nice animation at the back we have over here. Then we can see the about of the Pokemon, the type, category, height, weight, speed, and weakness of the Pokemon that we have selected. We can also favorite a Pokemon or unfavorite a Pokemon from here, and we get a nice snack bar on top over here which says success, the Pokemon has been removed from a favorite list, and if I click again, it will be added into our favorite list. I can go back and I can use the navigation drawer over here to check my favorite Pokemon that we have. So right now I have Bulbasaur, Charizard, and Charmander, and right now if I click on any one of the Pokemon, I will go into our detail favorite screen where I can just swipe between all my favorite Pokemon that I have. And I can also go back from here, and as you know, this application has a day and night theme, so I can just change the theme from over here. And now this application is having a dark theme, so I can just scroll the entire application and everything would be black or dark over here. And this is how the dark theme details page look. So yes, this is the application that we are going to use. I have used MVVM architecture. I have also used Riverpod 2 for this application, so you can learn those things as well. So this would be a long video. So let's get started. I have already created a new application and I've named that application as Pokedex 2 because I already have a Pokedex application. And like always, what we do is we select our main file and delete everything from it so that we can start from scratch. So we're going to start with void main function, and in that we are going to call our run app as always. Let us create a widget that we pass inside our run app, Pokedex application, and I'm going to pass this inside our run app over here like this, and I'm going to return material app home, and I'm going to create a new folder over here called as screens, and inside screens I will have a new file called as login screen dot. We are going to use Firebase as the login and authentication for this as well. So I'm going to create a stateless widget called as login screen. Let us pass that over here, and let me remove the debug sign. This part is done. And as I've mentioned, we are going to use Firebase for authentication. We are going to use Riverpod, and we are going to use HTTP package. So let us import those package. So let me just jump down to our pubspec.yaml file over here, and we'll also need some assets to this application. So let me create an image folder over here, not a file, a folder, images, and inside this folder we will drop all the images that we require for our application. And you can see I've already added some packages. We are using Riverpod 2.2, the latest updated version of Riverpod. We have HTTP package to get the data from our API. We have Firebase auth to do the authentication. We have Firebase code to integrate Firebase in our application. We are using CloudFire Store to save the data to our CloudFire Store, and we are using cache network image to fetch the images from our API that we get. And we have the login screen over here. Let us start with our login screen details that we are going to use. So first we will start with the UI. So let me just come back to login screen, and as usual we are going to use scaffold over here. And now that we have used scaffold and a container body, and let me just make sure if our application is running. So I will just click on play. I will create a JSON file for our application over here, and we will be using iPhone 13, and I will just play to make sure that our project setup is done and our application is running. And you can see our application has been loaded over here. All you can see is white screen because we haven't done anything. And let me just change the color to red and use hot reload over here, and then you can see we have the red color. That means our application has been loaded and it is working perfectly fine. Now we are going to create our login screen first, and we are going to use theme, but right now we will just create the UI of the login screen. So let me just import some images that I would need later on in general for my project. So these are a few of the images that I would need in my project. So you can see we have Ash, Brock, Clermont, and some of the characters from Pokemon. Then we also have this Pokeball image that I will be using for our loader image. We have this white Pokemon. We also have a normal translucent Pokeball that we have. Then a normal Pokemon name that I'm going to use for our login screen, and a splash screen that I will be using for our phone for our application. I'm going to upload this project on GitHub, so you can get these images from there as well. So let us start with our login page. Pokemon title. On top we are going to have the image of our Pokemon title, and then we will have a email and password and a login button. So let us start. Instead of container, I am going to use a column over here. Let us first check if this image is loading now. Okay, we are getting an error called as unable to load assets images slash Pokemon, and that is because we haven't added the images folder in our pubspec.yaml file. So let me just scroll down over here and add our images folder. And now our images will load, and yes, as you can see the image is loaded on the screen. So let me just get this image in center, and now we have this image center. I'm going to wrap center in a widget called as safe area, and now we have this image over here. Nothing is hidden in this image behind the notch. Everything is there that we have. So now let us create and text field where we are going to add email and password and a login button. So in our children over here we will have that as well. So I'm going to use a text form field because we are going to add validation of the text. For example, if someone enters invalid email, then we will check that, and if someone enters password less than 8 characters, we will check that as well. So we are going to use a text form field where we can add the form validation over here, so we can learn that as well. So we have a text form field, and in this text form field we are going to add a few of the properties for our text. So before moving ahead and using the text form field, I will create a controller for our email and controller for our password at the top over here. So let's say we have an email controller and a password controller that we will be using. We are going to use a decoration called as input decoration, in which we will add some borders and all the decoration that we'll need. So first is the hint text that we will need. I will add email as the hint text. Let me just refresh the application and see what we get. Yeah, we have the email over here. Let's just add padding to this. So we have a nice padding over here. And in our decoration, I want the curved border. So for that I'm going to use border property, and I will use outline input border, which will have a border radius property inside it, and that would be a circular radius of 10. that we have. We have a circular border over here like this. Enabled will be true because I want this border to be enabled. And now we want to change the focus border to a chrome color. So let us go down over here and let us select focused border. And again, over here I will use outline input border, and I'm going to pass the border radius. So now we have a normal border over here that will be showing this gray outline, and when we select this text field, that is when the text field will be in focus, our border will change from gray to the color of amber or chrome, you can say, and the width will increase to 3, you can see like this. Okay, we also want an error border at the bottom that will show the red color when the email that we have entered would be wrong. So let us add that as well. So I'm going to copy everything from here and just paste it, and instead of amber I will pass red color. So this will be our error border. We can't say this right now, but it will work when time comes. And we also need some hint text style. So hint style, and we will be setting up themes right now. So let us use the text style from theme directly. So theme dot of body text 1. So this is our theme over here that we are using for our text hint text style. And okay, we'll also need a icon over here and here as well. So these are the icons that we are going to need. So the prefix icon that we will be needing is icons.email. Okay, so we have this over here, and right now I will pass the color as colors.amber. It should match with our application, and we will also need a suffix icon at the end which will show us the pokeball that we have. So in suffix icon we are going to pass an image over here that we will need. So we are going to pass image.asset and images slash pokeball white png. And this is a huge pokeball that we see over here. So let me just add width of, let's say, 20 and fit width. So we have that over here, and a small padding that we have now over here. Okay, we can't see this. So what I will do is I will add a color filter to this image so that this image would be visible. So I will wrap image with a widget called as color filtered, and I will pass a color filter over here which will add a filter to this image. So color filter dot mode, I will be using a color with opacity. So let's say colors dot amber with opacity. Right now I want the opacity to be 1, and the blending mode I want to be modulate. So let's say blend mode dot modulate, and if I'll refresh we get a nice pokeball image with the color that we want. And now we can change this image to whatever color we want by dynamically changing this color when we call this image over here. So this is our email widget that we have, And what I will do is, let us start by extracting this text form field to create our password text field as well. So extract widget, and I will write custom text custom text form field. We have this custom text form field over here at the bottom, and I'm going to pass some variables that we will be needing. First of all, we won't need an email controller like this. So let me just remove the email controller. We will pass the controller dynamically. Text editing controller. We'll need final string hint text. We will need final bool is obscure text, because for password we'll have to obscure the password. So let me just add that here as well. So is obscure text, and for controller text that we will be using. And apart from this, let me just extract this image as well. I will extract this widget, and I will write this as because we can utilize this again somewhere. And let me create some properties for this. So this would be color with opacity. Let us create one more variable, so I can pass whatever opacity as I want. And we have this as well. Let me fix the error by adding this properties. Okay, and we have also renamed it as colored Pokeball so that I can use it everywhere. Let us pass those properties. And we have the same UI still. And over here, I would need those final is obscure and icon. Yes, the email icon that we pass. So the email icon that we pass at the end, we would need that as well. Okay, so these are the properties that we pass from outside into our email text field that we are going to use. And controller will be email controller, hint text will be email, obscure text false, we don't need obscure text, icons.email, and if I'll refresh we still have this. But the best part is now I can just reuse this custom text field. And let me just remove padding from here, remove this widget, and I will add padding as well to this text field only itself. So padding, and I will change this to 20, the padding that we have. And let me scroll on top and create a custom text field again. So let us create one more custom text field, and controller would be password controller, hint text password, obscure text true, and icon.lock. And if I'll refresh, we have password and email both, and we also have the nice focus animation or the focus color changing of our text field. And let me give sized box over here of height 20. Let me just extract those widgets. So I will create a new folder in our lib file called as widgets, which will hold all our widgets. I will create new file called as dot dot, and I will just copy the login screen text form field from here and I'll paste it, and just let us import the packages that we need. Okay, before importing colored Pokeball, let me shift the colored Pokeball as well, and I'll have to import the custom text field. And if I refresh my application now, it would still work the same. And now our login screen has very less code. We just have image asset. We have a sized box of 20 spacing that we have over here. Then we have a custom text form field for email. Then we have a custom text form field for password. And now let us create a login button. So I'll come down over here. I will create a container that I will use. So we have a container, and on container we'll give height of 50. I guess 50 is fine, and right now width 200. Okay, I will pass the decoration of box decoration, and color will be amber, and the radius will be 10 over here, circular radius. If I press Command S, we will get this button over here, and for the child I will pass text widget, and I will write login, which will be wrapped in center because I want it to be in center. And I'm going to use the style as headline 5. I want the headline 5 that we'll be using, and we have a nice login over here written. And I'm going to wrap this with gesture detector, or let's say inkwell. And with our container, we have now on I'll just write login button pressed. Let us see if this button is working or not in a debug console. You can see the login button pressed is working. Yes, now all we have to do is add functionality, but I want this width to be media query dot of context 0.8, 0.9 matches with this email ID and password. So now everything is same that we have over here. We have email, we have password which text is obscure, and then we have this login button, and we'll also need a sign up screen. So at bottom of our login button I will have a text which will say a new gym trainer, sign up instead. This should take us to a sign up page instead, and have to sign up button pressed. So now our login button is done, and once the user clicks on login button, we want to take the user to home screen. So I'll just create one more screen over here, and new file, home screen dot dot, stateless widget, home screen, and I will have this container to be, let us import material widget, and then this container colors.amber, and from login screen, when the user presses the login button, we want to take the user to our home screen. So Yes, we have this home screen. That means our login button is working. And this is our home screen right now. Let us create one more screen called as a sign up screen. Okay, we have a sign up screen over here and it would be same. So we have scaffold and scaffold will have a nice body. Body will be safe area and inside safe area we will have a child with column. Let me just copy a few things. That we will be needing over here as well. Okay, so the first text field would be we'll need email and password controllers that we had. Okay, we have email, password, and I will just require one more thing called as name on top. And let me just remove this error. Would be sign up button pressed, and when the user presses on navigate to sign, we want user to navigate